Alright, what's up guys? So today I'm going to make a little video. I see a lot of people confused on what's going on in the Tekashi 6ix9ine case. I'm not super knowledgeable, but I'm just making this video in case you kind of want to follow along and understand what exactly is happening. I got some notes written down here, so I'm going to kind of go through them and kind of make a timeline of what happened and how it happened and kind of clarify some things. This all started with in pretty much September of 2017 he blew up. He released Gummo. The song went crazy. It's really what started his fame. He had this blood gangster persona, super popular from that point on. A few things happened, but really it was just his rise to fame, and he had that personality of a gangster. He was promoting it on the internet, stuff like that, wearing red bandanas, red outfits, just that kind of stuff. Things like this, these enterprises, these super rich, famous people usually don't hold up forever. You can't stay on top of the game forever, so at one point or another, what comes up must come down. About a year into his success, things started getting rocky. Things started getting kind of iffy. You saw him from a span of June, July, November of 2018 lose the red colors. You didn't see him in videos with Shoddy, his manager, anymore. You didn't see him in the neighborhood with these blood gang members anymore. It seemed like he was kind of trying to separate himself from these people and move on to his own type of person. Now, I'm not sure if that's what caused a lot of this drama, but it seemed as if he was trying to separate himself and be his own entity rather than a blood member and a Treyway member. And I mean, a lot of that probably has to do with the judge telling him he can't say Treyway and he can't associate with these people. Yes, I acknowledge that, but I also feel like he was trying to separate from on himself because he didn't want to be taken in or looked at like that because he knew the feds were on him. The feds have been investigating the 9 Trey Bloods from Brooklyn since 2013, and he didn't join until 2017. So they were getting watched long before he was involved, but him becoming involved put a whole new spotlight on them and turned it into a whole new organization. It was at the top of the top. Everyone knew about it. Everyone read about it. So anyways, let's get into it. November 15th, he fires his whole team. He gets on social media. He says, I don't have a manager. I don't have a booking agent. I don't have anything. It's just me. No one else is with me. No Shoddy. No one. It's me and no one else. I'm my own entity. I have no relations to any of these people. I'm not Treyway. Nothing to do with them. And the whole world is like, what's going on? So he goes on the Breakfast Club the next day, pretty much says that the reason he left is because they were stealing money from him. That was his reason. He never gave a full explanation, but what he says is they were stealing money from him. He was owed $300,000. Come to find out, Shoddy, his manager, was actually taking less than his standard 10%. Less than that. Seemed when all the information came out that was not the case whatsoever. No one stole money from him. I think he just knew he was getting in deep water with the Fed, so he did whatever he could to separate himself from these people, even if that meant firing everyone and saying they were stealing money. Doesn't matter. He just wanted the feds to think that he was on his own and he had nothing to do with these people, but at that point it was too late. They had their case against him. He was going to get indicted whether he wanted it or not. I don't think he knew that, but that was the case. So November 16th, he does that famous Breakfast Club interview where he says he fired everyone. November 19th, which is 3 days later, he's indicted on federal charges, racketeering and firearms related to gang activity. They took him into custody along with his ex-manager Kafano Shoddy Jordan, which was like his right-hand man, Fahim Crippy Walter, which was one of his bodyguards. 3 other associates were all indicted and taken into federal custody. 6ix9ine is held without bail and in general population at that point. 6ix9ine in general population would not last. There's no way he was going to stay in general population. He probably would have got killed or hurt. A few days after that, he was moved to a facility where they say people who are cooperating with the feds get moved to. And at that point, we didn't know if he was cooperating or not, but they said that people who get moved to that are usually going to cooperate with the feds. At this point in time, in November, we weren't sure if he was going to take it to trial or if he was going to cop a plea deal. He also found out that his manager, Shoddy, and other associates were planning to hurt him and super violate him, as they said in the transcripts, which means they wanted him gone, they wanted him dead. The wiretaps on the phone found out that Shoddy was planning to kill 6ix9ine. Somewhere in there it went sour. He fired them for some reason, so something inside that we don't know caused him and Shoddy to just fall apart. So Shoddy wanted him dead. Tekashi wanted to separate himself from them. So November 19th, he's indicted on federal charges and he's held without bail. The details are scarce, so we're not really sure what's going on. November 22nd, like I said, he's transferred to that facility where usually people who are cooperating with the feds are transferred to. They kind of have a hunch that he's going to talk to the feds. Like I said, we don't have any physical proof that that's what's going to happen, but that's kind of what it was seeming. November 28th, we find out that there was wiretaps that indicated Shoddy and another associate claimed that 6ix9ine was never a gang member, and he joined for the fame. He was never a real gang member. He was never a blood, which at that point was seen as a plus for 6ix9ine because they could show the court, look at these wiretaps, I was never a gang member. His first defense was to say that he was not a gang member. That was his plan. So that was going to be his angle of defense. So that's the end of November. We get to January. This is where things are kind of turning out for the worse. We're not sure what's going on. So January 23rd, Tekashi 6ix9ine pleads guilty to 9 counts of racketeering and firearm charges. If he pled guilty, he is obviously striking a deal with feds. I'm assuming he's cooperating with them. If he pled guilty, the charges he was facing had a minimum of 47 years in prison. He entered a guilty plea, which means he's obviously going to get that sentence reduced by a lot, probably 30 or 40 years. In my opinion, we don't have the paperwork, so we can't know for sure, but everyone's assuming that he's cooperating with the feds. If he took a guilty plea and he's working on a deal, at this point he's only concerned for himself. He's focused on getting out. He's focused on, I don't care if I have to snitch, but I'm getting out of this prison one way or another. People kind of have an idea that he might be snitching because he was notified by wiretaps via the feds that Shoddy, his ex-manager, was actually having an affair with his baby mother, Sarah. And the feds showed Tekashi those wiretap conversations because they want him to turn on all the members. They're thinking, how can we get Tekashi to speak up to us? How can we get him to tell us all the information we need? And their idea is, let's show him these wiretaps, let's get him mad, let's get him angry at these people so he'll throw him under the bus. And let's get him mad, let's get him talking. So I'm assuming that was their play there. Angry, trying to show him these things to have him talk more. So right now, like I said, guilty plea. As of what we stand right now, what's going to happen is in January 22nd of 2020, which is about a year from now, 11 months, that's when his sentencing is. But since he took that guilty plea, him and his lawyer are going to try to work out a deal where he can get out on bond and he can be home until his sentencing. He can get out for about almost a year until his sentencing, and once he's sentenced, my guess, I'm sure everyone watching this is waiting for this, but my guess is he will be in prison from anywhere from 3 to 10 years. There's no way he can avoid prison time. He's going to prison. Sorry to tell you, there's no way he can avoid it. He was facing 47 years, so him cooperating obviously had a benefit to it for him. So what's going to happen is he's going to sell out everyone. He's going to snitch. He's going to tell the feds everything. He's going to give them names. He's going to give them times. He's going to give them places of when all this stuff went down. They're going to reduce his sentence by, I'm guessing, probably 30 to 40 years. I'm guessing he's going to do anywhere from 3 years to 10 years. I don't know for sure. Where we are right now is in November, he was indicted on a bunch of charges, RICO charges, racketeering charges. January comes around, he got denied bail twice in that period from November to December. He applied for bail twice. They said no twice. January 23rd comes around, he enters a guilty plea, which probably means he's striking a deal with the feds. So where we're at right now is he pleaded guilty. His sentencing is 22nd of 2020. Him and his lawyer are fighting for bond so he can get out until his sentencing. So it's a waiting game to see when his next court date is, if they'll let him out on bond or if they'll keep him in there until 2020. But either way, I'm assuming he'll get 3 to 10 years, anywhere in that range, which is a lot better than 47. I like his music a lot. It's sad his career had to end this way because when he gets out, he's obviously not going to be the same as he was. It's a pretty sad story, but that's what we know now. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Peace.